Okay, here we go, guys. What a matchup this is. As we are going to start up on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Our red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is the legend TaeJa. And what a legend he is. He has been he was a staple of the StarCraft 2 scene, and coming back now, can only be excited to hopefully see him do great things in 2019. I wonder how well he'll do moving forwards and going into the GSL this year, etc. As Scarlett's going to open with a little bit of aggression, a gas and a pool in the top left-hand side. From our Blue Zerg player Scarlett, representing Team Newbie, a few Chinese players actually starting to join, a few Chinese teams starting to pick up StarCraft 2 players. Rumors, and I would say more so than just rumors, they've been confirmed now. So confirmations of a Chinese team pro league going to be starting up this year by SC Boy. Very good news if you're a Wardy fan, aka this channel, because I've actually already made some contacts in terms of casting that tournament, and it's looking pretty great. Players such as Zest, Solar, Scarlett's going to be there, a bunch of Chinese players as well, some of the other Korean players too. It's looking like it's going to be pretty great, and there's going to be about $85,000 of prize money a year for it. So that's currently being established. It's been in the works for over a year, so it's actually a very serious tournament. It's not just a, will it be fun if we throw some money at this? So rumors of that are starting to come true. Solo just joined his Chinese team. Scarlett's on a Chinese team as well, Newbie. And yeah, it looks as though I think both of those teams are going to be competing in this Pro League tournament that the SE Boy organization is going to be setting up over in China. So excited for that. And as we do see these first 6 Zerglings heading across the map. Now this is link speed, and so you would probably expect a few more Zerglings to come up behind this to really try and get a cancel on this command center. So Scarlett not going to make anything just yet, and she is then going to make a drone. So actually isn't too interested in continuing with the Lings. But then there is the Ling speed, right? So it definitely looks aggressive. Maybe there's some Lings going to come out as a follow-up to this. There goes 6 Lings. I guess it's already 8 Lings. Let's see what they can do as they run right on in here. There is a Marine reactor, or Tech Lab actually goes down on the racks there to buy a little bit of time. We'll cancel that, but now the Marine's going to be, well, I guess not really stuck in a corner because the depot can lower. SCV on the low ground already taken down. SCVs will pull in to try and protect Mr. Marine here, but the Marine will fall, and that's a lot of damage output that's going to be lost. Another Marine about to pop up on the racks. As well, the CC won't go down. Link speed now kicking in, and so it's going to get a little bit tougher to actually clean up these Zerglings, as we are going to be seeing an SCV on the factory gets taken down, the Reaper and the other Marine gets taken down. Oh, those Lings are backed into a corner, though. The SCVs here should be able to block them in. Good hold position on the SCVs on the front. That's actually really nicely done, and that's going to be a dead set of Zerglings. A wall off here, and Scarlett will get the cancel on the CC in the end. This is actually very painful. I'd say almost more painful than usual, because usually when this happens, you see the CC cancelled, but the Lings don't get in the main to deal damage. But this time the Lings did get in the main to deal damage. They got a couple of SCVs in the end. You got the Reaper and the Marines. As now Scarlett will just drone it behind us, of course. The SCVs pulled off the line to repair up these supply depots, and Scarlett, well, set up with 2 Queens injecting away, ready to go into a 3rd hatchery even perhaps, and just move on through with the next stage of this game, off of what has definitely been a successful link speed opening here in the TVZ. Starport getting dropped straight down on the Tech Lab. I mean, it's just going to be nice and safe to get a Banshee out here ASAP, just in case there is some sort of a Roach-based follow-up. Meanwhile, another Hellion popping out here from TaeJa in a moment or two. The reactor dropping down on this barracks. That reactor going to pop out of the racks very shortly. As we do have those few Zerglings still hanging around towards the bottom right-hand side. Starport will finish. Banshee and Cloak will get started here from TaeJa. And we see the command center. That's going to be the natural finishing now. We'll be ready to float down in a moment, but obviously we'll generally float it in, morph it into an orbital first. And TaeJa just slowed down a lot in that worker build-up. And as Scarlett will take a faster lair. Does not take the 3rd hatchery just yet, actually, as I was previously suggesting. But instead, she will just go into the lair, take some extra gases, and just build up at this point into further attackers. I mean, this amount of Hellions should be good to push away those Zerglings. A Banshee and a tank as a follow-up right now from TaeJa as well, also getting set up and established here. As we are going to be seeing the CC should be able to float straight on down. Not going to drop the mule just yet, going to save it for the low ground, otherwise that main base will start... mining out a little bit too quickly. So the few Hellions just poking around at the front. We see a supply depot dropping down, and a mule will drop as well in the natural expansion. Siege tank from TaeJa will get set up here now too. And the Baneling Nest dropping down in the back of this natural expansion for Scarlett. So that Baneling Nest dropping down for Scarlett there as we see the Hellions coming across the map. The Banshee up the left-hand side. Again, those Hellions just going to be poking around. A little bit of creep spread there. Seeing those Hellions as they come around the top. There's a creep tumor immediately in position at the moment. And you see the Banshee showing up and starting to pick through another couple of drones. So, a couple of drones getting taken down. There's 5 workers killed. The Banshee getting picked off there. It's a good shutdown on the Banshee. But 5 workers in the end. I mean, the Banshee getting killed is nice, but again, 5 workers is definitely a good amount as we see TaeJa able to pick off that Overlord. Tell you what, TaeJa still building tanks, Banshee, and just pure Marine. And it kind of feels like this is going to become a bit of an aggressive attack while maybe teching it behind it. Spire on the way down from Scarlett doesn't have a ton of gas to make a lot of meters, so I kind of feel like this group of Marines should be enough anti-air to hold those off. Depends, of course, on how the rest of the fight goes. TaeJa going to be setting up on the bottom side of this third base, which is still just now building. TaeJa identifying that, and a couple of queens coming over. This Hellion going to pull back here, Zergling started to run forwards. Banes will start up, but those tanks, of course, can get so much done. And the Banshee as well, honestly, I mean, there's a lot of potential to shut down units before they're really going to get forwards here. Yeah, it's not quite that creep tumor, actually. Oh, 2 Marines on the right side will go forwards for the creep tumor then in the end. And well, in range of a hatchery. TaeJa, remember, no stim or anything on these Marines, so it's not like they're super crazy good. This Banshee not cloaking up just yet either. I mean, there is an Overseer available, so it wouldn't be... It's not exactly super necessary. A Banshee around the top side getting deflected pretty quickly as well. 13 meters on the way up as the Queens going to press forwards. I mean, the Marines really need to try and stay safe right now because these Marines are the only thing that are going to fight against the mutants as Lingers and Banes are running through. Marines still kiting back. The tanks are still alive and so are a good few Marines. Is it enough though? Probably not against these Queens, although the Queens running out of transfuse energy. And this tank shot or two still going down, trying to pick off the Overseer as that is going to be the mutants flying in to clean this up. So the tanks will fall. As we do see 11 drones going down though, because this Banshee is picking up mad amount of workers in the natural expansion. How about that? Suddenly TaeJa is in position elsewhere and the Banshee gets 15 kills. We saw this Banshee being pushed away before, then in the end TaeJa still grabs... Oh man, there's still no Spore Crawl on the main base either, so actually we'll probably get another couple of workers here. 17, 18 killed. We just fly in on the other side and get 2 SCVs, which isn't a lot because there's only 3 Mutalisks, and there was only 3 because Scarlett spent the rest of her gas building a few Banelings to help deflect that previous attack. Well, now TaeJa's going to have Stim, Ward 1 upgrades, 3rd CC moving out into position on the bottom side of the map as well. And so this is all getting set up and ready to go. You see those couple of meters going to fly in, SCV taken down, another SCV taken down pretty quickly as well. And this up turret there to push those meters away. So meters going to get pushed back now. Again, just going to be seeing a little bit of this creep spread coming out, pushing down the left-hand side. So some creep coming down the left side. We still have the Marines here, though. I mean, the meter's just not going to do anything when there's only 3 of them. Obviously, a few more have been tagged together now. +1 flyer attacks on the way up, but TaeJa will take an upgrade lead in general. +1/+1 finishing for him is +1 from Scarlett. Just started recently. +1 Carapace is a bit further along, but the melee really did just start recently, so that's going to be trailing by a little bit here. As the mutants are still looking around, seeing just what they can get done, perhaps. Marines in the tank over to the far left-hand side now, so pushing all the way over here. See a couple of those creep tumors already going down. Mutants taking some damage. The Banes, well, I mean, TaeJa starts kiting back. Doesn't have combat shields yet, remember, as the mutants probably will be able to clean this up. TaeJa using a lot of these Marines, but has even more units pouring out at home, and that's one of the things that TaeJa was always very good at. I mean, he played in this stage of the game where, you know, the constant parade pushes against, you know, Mutilating Bane were a thing, and you had to always be on top of reproducing your Marines and having another wave of units ready to go, ready moving out on the map, etc., etc. Just hanging out to the right-hand side, and I'll probably want to dive in towards that natural in a moment or two as an Overseer from Scarlett coming in from the upper side of the map as well. And TaeJa's still just moving around with these few units, trying to see what can be done. We're just taking a few more shots, and just going to be seeing now Marines coming in. Able to pick away at a couple more of those meters. Just tickling away at them at the moment. He is obviously Scarlett really needs these. It's going to be a drilling clause kind of follow up though. You see the factory has moved its way on towards the tech labs, or was on the tech lab for the tanks. Starts up drill and claws, second factory will go onto a reactor, and that will really add up the Widowmine count here. Just to scan and clean out some creep to keep the push towards the third base being very powerful. They'll come in there and doesn't quite get a couple of those active tumors, which is a little bit of a shame. A little bit of a shame. He is flying on the red side, but Marines are there to protect them, and again, off of creep, this is very scary for Scarlett to engage into. So she just doesn't, as TaeJa will pull back. We'll end up with reinforcements out in the center, and we'll be able to look to push elsewhere now, maybe. There's a little bit of a stint in, going to be probably scanning for some creep tumors as well. Again, just a couple of creep tumors out in the kind of forward positions, just getting rid of this, just this presence on the map that Scarlett maintains with that. Seeing the fourth base and the fifth base coming up the top, so TaeJa probably does want to start pushing to the top side instead. This bottom side base is going to be difficult to push into. It's only going to get more difficult over time, really. So definitely nice to maybe think about pushing up here, although honestly with the creep spread up there, it's going to be difficult to push up there as well. That meter count's still rising up, so I love TaeJa's inclusion of fours to the army. The fours obviously going to go a long way towards just helping deal with those meters, especially as they get into higher numbers. It's going to go very nicely indeed. So I like this so far. So good, as the meters still hanging out with the Overseer, and there go the Marines. Before a couple tanks. Got that drill and claws, but we haven't actually seen any Widow Mines yet. There's a couple here. Obviously was prioritizing the floor for a little while. Well, there's a lot of missile turrets on this bottom side. TaeJa is pressing forwards though, and I think is interested in just trying to keep moving in. Ling's going to run into the natural in the main base though, and that never ends well for the Terran. So that's going to be a lot of SCVs killed. Widow Mines burrowing up as the fourth base gets taken down. So far 9, 11 workers, 13 as well. Going down here. Oh no, TaeJa distracted. As we're going to be seeing those Banes running on in. 4. Going to get some good shots off of the meters, and the Banes are off creep, so there is some potential here to clean out for TaeJa in the end. Another 4 shot, and the meters are still pushed away. Somehow TaeJa, despite having a bad start to this fight, is still pushing in, and that's the importance of cleaning up that creep spread. Huge importance of cleaning up that creep spread here. As we're going to see those Lings still being cleaned out. Now jumping in on top of these Banes. They aren't ready yet, these Marines. 2-2 upgrades, they are shredding. The Mutants try and fight as well, but the 4... I mean, the 4 already had them low from before, and now it's just going to be Mutants dropping all over the place. TaeJa's on the top side of the map, and Scarlett maybe just lost too many units in that run by to not immediately then have an answer to this army over here. Impressive hold by TaeJa, because when you get those Lings in the natural, etc., it becomes really, really panicky. Jump back into this TVZ as up a game in the bottom left corner. Our red Terran player from Team Liquid is TaeJa. Up against the pink Zerg in the upper right hand side of the map, we have got a Scarlett. So, game 2 of this best of 3 is coming on down right now, and obviously Scarlett trailing by 1 is going to open very differently to how she opened back in game number 1. That gas pool, the fast link speed, giving her what I would say was a slight advantage or so going in towards the, the follow-up of the game. This time it's just going to be a straight-up hatchery first. Lots of drones as a follow-up as well, before we see a gas and a spawning pool with these couple of workers popping out. So, there we go. Gas and a pool coming in here. And so, hatch gas pool shall be our opening for the next little while. As TaeJa sets up with a few SCVs being added into play. That Rax is coming down, and yeah, this is just getting established as well. So, TaeJa looking good at the moment to get this started. Meanwhile, on the TVT that we're having a little bit of a look at, just as a bit of an update to scores, Fantasy taking that game number 1, and is taking a bit of a lead in game number 2 as well. Yeah, and we might cast that a little bit later on from replays, just to kind of give you guys some extra content on, just on top of what's going to be a bit of a shorter stream today otherwise. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I'll keep you guys updated, and so on and so forth. Again, Stage 2 of the qualifier tomorrow is going to be very exciting. It's Stage 2 tomorrow is already quite stacked, actually. Like, really stacked, honestly. It's already got 8 players invited in. And those 8 players are going to be Classic, SOS, Stats, Trap, Zest, Gumiho, TY, and Solar. So we already have a bunch of Terran and Protoss and a Zerg as well in there. So again, should be pretty interesting, and interested to see who will end up moving on through. Obviously today we've got, I think one of the big matches might be Sue versus Cure in the second round. Cure currently playing Trust, obviously has to go through Trust first, but if he does get through Trust, then Sue Cure could be pretty exciting as we see that link speed starting up from Scarlett. Few Zergers just hanging out the front. And we see TaeJa just with a pretty regular Hellion opening, going to use the tech lab, or the barracks, to build a tech lab here. And by getting in towards that tech lab now, opens up a couple of options. Amulor 2 will drop down, SCV's continuing out, and that link speed on the way from Scarlett as well just allows her to take that earlier map control away from the Terran for a little bit, or at least fight against the Hellions, which will then come out and take some map control as well. Creep just already pushing down to the third base, connecting that up there, give the Queens easy access over. Being able to move the Queens around quite easily is obviously very important, as we're going to be seeing an attempt to get the lava, but the Overlord morphs in, saves the lava right there. That's nice. I mean, killing the lava isn't exactly the be-all and end-all of the world, but it can be a nice little pick-off to see the Hellions coming through, and that's another Creep tumor picked off just like that. Cloak on the way up on the starport, Stim on the way on the barracks tech lab, so just going to be a Cloak Banshee opening with Hellions, followed into some very fast bio play. And yes, TaeJa, he loves his bio, always has done, and would be sad to see him kind of turning towards the mech style of things in his return to StarCraft 2. So yeah, looking towards this just being a bio-based game once again. Now Scarlett's already setting up the Bane nest. It's timed up to be there more or less in time to get Banes up to help against a bit of a larger Hellbat attack that maybe Lings and Queens alone couldn't deal with. We're going to be getting a couple of Lings already. The Queens coming up towards the front to deal with those Hellions as well. Get a few shots off. I mean, there's no armory with this, so there's no intention of it being Hellbats. Hellions just here to try and push back Creep, get some shots off where possible. Then, of course, the Banshee has a follow-up as well. The Viking is hunting for an Overlord, but hasn't found one yet. First one it will find is this one here, but it's pretty close to the third hatch with Queens nearby, so I'd be kind of surprised if Scarlett was to lose this Overlord. I'm pretty sure she'd be able to defend it for the most part. You see Queens again able to push away those Hellions, so they're still not really finding much of an access point. Overlord will start taking a few hits, the Queen's instantly coming down, and nowhere does this Overlord go down. Queen's going to put out way too much damage on that Viking, so good defense. Viking and TaeJa finding absolutely nothing at all. Meanwhile, though, the Banshee cloaks up and does come forwards, gets a kill on us, just a Zerglin or Crypt tumor or something. Nothing too important, though, as we'll look for some drones on the edge of this mineral line, but Queen, Spore, the combination is good. Spore means it has to stay towards the edge, but it gives that detection. The Queen already poking away at it, so the Banshee already going fairly low here. On the bottom side, these Hellions going to loop around, start heading across towards the upper right-hand side. Again, the Lings and the Banes gathering up in the center. Queen's pushing Creep through on the top side as well. And we've seen those Hellions all gathering up as Zerglin getting taken down. And the Banshee just going to pick off that Creep tumor as well here, so got little bits of damage so far. Again, some Creep from Scar could continue pressing forwards. So that could continue pressing forwards as this orbital going to come down, drop into the third base location as well. Spire 1-1 upgrades, Baneling speed, all of this getting going from Scarlett also. As we see the Lings running around towards the top side, and again the Queens to the bottom. You want to take that watchtower as we see the Creep spread being pushed out onto the map. Again, Lings and a few Banes hanging out to the right as you see a few drones are being killed off by the Banshee squad on the top. So they're just poking in, getting a couple of drone kills, then ending up backing away here. As we do see the Hellions going to have to stay away from those Queens as well. The Queen's still trying to just press forwards. And first Marines, I mean, as soon as you have Stim and 2 Medivacs, this is a very safe push to do. You can just lift up into the Medivacs if there's any trouble. But of course you want to start cleaning up this Creep spread. The faster you clean up Creep spread, or the more you clean it up, the more energy that has to be spent on Queens, the more difficult it is for the Zerg to know what, where attacks are coming or what attacks are coming. And that's going to be even that last little Creep tumor getting picked off there. as I think 1 or 2 Marines going down, but not too much, as now TaeJa will unload up on the high ground, and of course that's going to be another scan to clean up another set of creep spread here. Just continue to push this back at the moment. Supply depots will continue coming down on the bottom side. The creep continue to get picked off here. Finds an Overseer. Really nice pick off. So picks off the Overseer at the moment. We're going to see those Lings and Banes continue to run forwards. Marines will get lifted back into the medevacs once again. Some creep spread once again replaced on the top side. And it's just this constant kind of wave of creep after creep after creep so far. ZvT puts down a supply command center on the 4th base, so gets that started. Let's see those Marines going to stem forward. So we're just going to see a few creep teamers getting picked off, so a few creep teamers going down. Again, Lings coming over and are able to surround and kill off a couple of Hellions. And we've seen this hatchery up on the top side. Is not going to get the chance to go down as a scan will come in, and just going to be seeing a little bit of creep being cleaned up already. Queen's pressing forwards here. We're going to be seeing those Marines stimming in. Lings and Banes going to be rolling on forwards. Well, it feels like Scarlett has plenty to clean this up initially with the mutants flying in overhead. The tanks don't stand much of a chance, and that is going to be TaeJa pushed away. Keeps the medevacs alive though, which is, you know, fairly, actually kind of a nice little something, because usually you lose the medevacs in that fight, I feel. So keeping the medevacs up. Scarlett definitely getting a bit of momentum. 87 drones. Troop just seems to be sitting very constantly over kind of through the middle of the map. And it just feels like, well, TaeJa doesn't have much of an answer for anything that Scarlett's coming up with at the moment. As these Banshees chasing the Queens down a little bit, but at some point these Queens are going to go, at some point these Banshees are going to be found by an Overseer, and they are going to die. The question is, where is the Overseer? It's just finished morphing in to the right, is on the natural. Oh my god, the Banshees, no, don't tell me they're going to get away. Can't believe they keep getting away with this. Well, they come in and they will get a few more drones, so they make themselves known. But I mean, to be fair, coming in and getting a bunch more drones like this, absolutely fantastic. 6, 7 workers, making that 8. The Overseer still hasn't caught up as the Banshees are moving a bit too fast, and that will be 11 workers killed. As TaeJa looks like he's a little bit doomed, he finds a glimmer of hope. And that little bit of, you know, a worker kill count. Well, that's something for him to work with here as he'll move forwards and just try and clean up a little bit of the creep in the center of the map again. And Blue Shift is a fairly small map, so it only takes 1 scan and that creep does get pushed back significantly. But Ling Bane's running by straight into that planting fortress here. A few Marines already stimming over. A few SCVs will do what they can to repair, and it looks like the planting fortress will survive. Only 9 workers killed, but a lot of Ling Bane taken down for those 9 workers, and I'd say that's still a trade TaeJa's happy with, because Scarlett did give up a lot of units, including a good few Banes. To, in the end, only kill 9 workers isn't that many. Here's now on the other side though, and this is the multi-prong from Scarlett. The never let the Terran focus on an attack sort of maneuver. I mean, you just want to keep on being annoying, just jumping in different places with those mutants and trying to control the game. While TaeJa, obviously on his side, is trying to get those larger pushes, because that's where TaeJa really will excel against Ling Bane, you know. And Scarlett takes the upgrade lead at the moment with a 3+3 and Adrenal Gland start, only by a few seconds, but any upgrade lead as a Zerg is something you don't usually get to see. A Reaper here mixed into the composition, a little bit of a mistake. Or was it just the Reaper from earlier? That was actually the Reaper from the start of the game, just still alive. Makes a reappearance, 11 minutes in. Dies pretty much instantly. That's about how good summary of how useful Reapers are in these later game armies. But what if it threw down the Reaper Grenade of the Century? Drops the Reaper Grenade in the center of the Banes, bops them up, and TaeJa kills them all while they're flying through the air. Who knows? Reaper could have been a hero, just wasn't this time around. Well, Logan's working through the rocks, so we're going to be seeing the Mutants going to help out with that as well. And the Zerg loves the idea of extra attack paths, flanking potentials, etc. While the Terran isn't so much of a fan of that, I'd imagine. These Lings, though, kind of just running on their own. The Bane's not really doing anything, and the 4 shots on the Mutants are good at the moment. Scan from TaeJa as he just looks to see what he might be pushing further into here. Doesn't want to go too deep without information as to what is going on. So the creep's still being cleaned out a little bit at the moment. Still picking up a few of those creep teamers. A big Ling counterattack once again. Widow Mines! Oh my god, that Widow Mine just picked up 18 Zerglings, and these Widow Mines... Oh my god. This one picked up 18 as well. It's a good few Widow Mines here, and again, a lot of Lings going down to not really actually deal that much damage. I mean, we're talking about 5 workers killed for 50 Zerglings or so. You know, that's really inefficient from Scarlett, and you can see this is starting to add up. 9,500 to 7,000 resources lost. Well, the Mutas are going to dive in on the other side. The Widow Mines are burrowed up here, but they're not actually active yet. And there's Overseers with these Mutas as well. Can TaeJa save this orbital? We'll get the repair on it, but that costs even more SCVs. Marines or something or anything. Not at the moment, apparently, as the Widow Mines. I mean, Scarlett sees them with the Overseers, so isn't just going to fly into that. Oop, missile turret, though. Going to be good for the moment. 17 workers killed in this in the end, as now you see Scarlett has the Ultras coming out onto the map, although Kindness Plane not done yet, so this first Ultra might not be as great as you think it is. And you're seeing this hatchery taking a lot of damage. Scarlett going to dive in to keep that hatchery alive. Transfusions from the Queens as well. The Mutas started to come back home, although I really don't feel like there was anything here to really shut down Mutas. Widow Mine's going to relocate, just a little bit of bio here will clean up. Looks like TaeJa will just pull back to then reinforce. Get ready to go again. Both players maxed out here. 200 supplies, couple of nice banelings. Takes TaeJa a bit away from 200, but, well, his army supply is still good. It's just he does run out of, he only has 60 workers. No sign of a 5th base either. No command center, nowhere to really take it either. With the creep spread being so far forwards on this side of the map, these Marines will move through. And we'll at least get something done about that. So starting to clean up some of that creep spread. Needs to do it on the low ground as well, though. Keep this creep being closed on out at the moment. Couple Ultras being added into play. The attempt to run by on the bottom side, denied by a few Marauders and a couple placed Widow Mines to help defend that position. Lings taking that watchtower up at the top, and just seeing this army of Scarlett coming around here. Let's see, I mean, this is a good little chunk of units to actually deal with these Ultras. Ultras don't even have anabolic synthesis yet, so they have no extra speed off the creep. It finishes just as they die. So those two Ultras don't do much. I mean, the Widow Mines going off. Honestly, Widow Mines in this sort of position are so good, as you see the Infestors, though, dropping some fungals. And they're a new addition to the army. Doesn't hit too many, though. Too many units, so the Infestors not doing too much just yet. Another fungal grabs one Marine. Feels like Scarlett's been a little bit panicked with those infested fungal growths. Don't really want to be using them as ineffectively as that. Bottom right base from Scarlett is setting up now. Mutas want to fly in, but the Widow Mine's obviously scary. Well, that's a little bit of splash on Mutalist number 1 on the first pack of Mutas. And one Muta going down, but that's the thing. Widow Mines, if there's not multiple connections, the splash damage doesn't actually kill much there. Scarlett might try and run into this as it retreats, but decides not to. Still a few missile turrets in this main base. It's going to be driving in on this missile turret here. It's mostly just Marauders and mines left behind, so if Scarlett avoids the mines, then the Mutas are going to be in some trouble. Big fight going to start up on the top. Fungal growth drops on a few Marines. Again, it's Scarlett here trying to get in towards the Broodlords. She's got a good position to sort of stay defensive, as this orbital is starting to drop as well. I mean, there's again only really one Marine here. There's not enough anti-air to really stop those Mutas. Mutas should be able to get this. I mean, a few more Marines running in now, and we do see the Mutas still dropping down. A medevac and Marines starting to unload here, and maybe that's enough. This base is being saved, but it's costing, again, TaeJa a ton of workers. 16 SCVs going down for this. 16 SCVs going down as 9 Corruptors will start on up. Wow. Craziness at the moment, guys. Back, bio moving down to the bottom right hand side. Pushing through here a little bit, creeping and cleaned up again. Widow Mines gonna burrow. Ooh, big bio play. Oh my god, the Widow Mines do blow up a lot of those bays as they get blown up themselves. Well, TaeJa, we talked about the need for a 5th base, and this is the attempt to take it now on the bottom. Without that 5th base, Scarlett will just continue to trade so well. I kind of feel like the Broods, though, are going to be an issue. I mean, TaeJa starts up a Ghost or 2. It's going to be difficult to get enough up, though, really. It's going to be really difficult to get enough up here. That's a tough little position. This is a tough little position at the moment. Feeling is pulling back through the center. I mean, the Ultra is not able to be aggressive either. It's nothing really working out just yet. TaeJa again, a few Marines down to the bottom with a couple Widow Mines, but I feel like with the Spine Crawlers here, the Lings in position, this is not going to do much, and it looks like TaeJa wasn't paying attention either. Didn't burrow the Widow Mines. Maybe a bit afraid of the Broodlords, which are now pressing through the top side of the map. Going to see a bit of an attempt of a carpet bomb here. Widow Mines trying to unload underneath the Broods, but the fungal on the medevacs is pretty good. The other Widow Mines will burrow, and well, you know what? The Widow Mines, I feel, did a surprising amount here, as the Ultras will get cleaned out, and TaeJa's fight will actually somewhat clean up. Now we see fours are going to chase forwards after these broods as well. The bio eats up a couple of shots already. Oh my god, these broods are actually taking a bit of a beating. These fours, though, need to get a bit closer, and one of them is so close to going down. Those broods are absolutely abandoned without any sort of help anymore, but Scarlett's rebuilding 58 Lingers, bunch more infestors. This Bio 4 still pressing forwards as TaeJa only has 32 workers remaining. The bottom side base cleaned out in the meanwhile, with Lings, Ultras, and Mutas flying into the natural expansion here. A few Ghosts can maybe line up some snipes on the Ultra, and we'll take that down, but then what else do you do? I mean, those Ghosts are in trouble. One or two Broodlords still remain. There's just a little bit of bio left from TaeJa, as Scarlett seemingly has enough to take this to a game 3. The Ling's coming out, starting to surround the bio. Didn't moved away for a moment or two. There's a lot of medevacs here, but then the Corruptor's showing up. They can fight the medevacs and actually push that away rather easily. And this is going to be Scarlett holding on. Scarlett holds on, pushes this back. And TaeJa will fall into some trouble here. We have more broods on the way up, extra Banes. We barely managed to deal with the first set of Broodlords. I do not think there is any real answer for the second set of Broodlords. We'll try and attack through the bottom side of the map now. Instead, we'll try and change up the direction he's engaging in. So coming all the way down to the south as we see Lings and Mutas. We'll probably want to dive on through in towards the natural expansion. Starting to go down, starting to pick away at this Plantry Fortress. So Plantry taking quite a bit of damage, and well, I mean, again, we see an attack to the bottom right, but I mean, Scarlett's not going to let any more production come up here. The Banes are going to bust through the front. I mean, this production's all going to be taken down. Corruptors are caustic spraying, and we're going to be seeing this Bio Force. I mean, sure, you take down one of the bases. Scarlett has the top side of the map as well, though, so she really doesn't mind all that much. She has enough to, again, just shut down the production here. I mean, TaeJa is down on one single base. Great game, though. I mean, honestly, Resources lost 35k to 29k. Scarlett was just able to have too good of an economy. From early in the game, I feel there was those, like, 86 workers. I felt like TaeJa never really dented into them for such a long while. And it just meant that Scarlett could take some of those inefficient trades, etc. Ghosts are being chased down by a couple of Banes now, and the numbers are already being dropped drastically. As the Broodlings dropping in from the skies, the Bio comes in from the top side. The Ghosts will line up their snipes, and the Broods will take some damage, but not for long as the Banes again start rolling forwards. Again, eventually the Broodlords will be way too much in this situation, although the snipes are good. I mean, a lot of those Broods do go down. Those Ghosts have been surprisingly effective as Scarlett falls down to only 83 supply. TaeJa will type out GG, but 82 versus 41 supply. Scarlett almost out of money at the end as well. They actually got very close. So, like, honestly, like, this nearly. On the bottom left-hand side of Cerulean Fall, our red Terran player from Team Liquid is TaeJa. Top right, our pink Zerg, Scarlett, opening hatch. Gas and Pool again away from those early game aggressive build orders that we saw her using back in game 1. And just going back to what she used in game 2, the standard opening. And let's not do anything too crazy or anything like that as we get this underway. Gotta say, man, that last game actually got a bit close. I feel like if TaeJa just has a little bit more left over, it is only like Scott's only on 80 supply. Just was losing economy in bits and pieces, and it was a little bit crazy. It was a little bit crazy right there. As we do see the Reaper of TaeJa. We'll start to head out to the top side of the map. So, Reaper of TaeJa off on a journey here, and going to see what it can get up to over the next couple of moments. So, coming across towards the upper left-hand side, upper right-hand side, sorry. And Reaper hopping up and moving through as we see the Zerglings going to start chasing that Reaper down. So, a little bit back and forth here. And as we see the Reaper coming in, and again, just having a little bit of a skirmish. Beyond the Reaper, just going to be seated in the factory. Double gas, the starport is ready to come down. Cerulean Fall as a map should be a little bit easy, I feel, for TaeJa to attack on. It's a little bit more difficult for Scarlett just to cover each attack path with creep on this map and to kind of just control TaeJa in that way, which kind of feels like he was controlled in the last game, you know? It definitely felt like he was just consistently never really able to push through, right? his bio was always met with troop spread and a whole bunch of Zerg units. So on this map, there's a bit more possibility to move around. It's a bit larger, it's a bit wider. So that may give TaeJa those opportunities, and the bases don't come as easily kind of defended, I guess, on this map either. So maybe that'll help TaeJa through here. As it's also it's also not at the same time, while it is larger in that aspect, it's also definitely not very large though when you go base to base. So in terms of a Terran player, it's kind of perfect for pushing across, rallying across, stuff like that. So we are going to be seeing these couple Hellions with the Reaper joining up here in a moment or so. And we're just going to get a single Crypt Tumor to begin with. Again, those Crypt Tumors going to be doing a good little bit of damage to start off here. Oh, Drone taking some damage. Drone will fall. And again, Reaper and Hellions picking off another Zergling or so. 9 more drones on the way up as we see TaeJa going to opt for the fusion core. So he's going to go into the Battlecruiser here as we get this started off. I'm a sub, but I see ads. We don't do ad-free viewing for subscribers on the channel. It's something that we've never done, and we don't currently plan on changing that. And Manaheim, it says, Snoot qualified for Katowice. Snoot played in the Katowice qualifiers, and he got through to stage 2 of the European qualifier, but he lost not super swiftly. He did win a couple matches, but he didn't qualify for Katowice, no. As you see, Hellion getting sniped down there as those queens coming in. Rotoron setting up in the main base of Scarlett, so Rotoron to finish up in a moment or so. Followed by a couple of Eva Chambers, so a completely different playstyle here. As Scarlett's information early is lacking. Doesn't see what's up at the moment as you see those Hellions coming to the top side. Grenade goes down, Queen's getting bopped to the sides, and those Zerglings continue to gather up from Scarlett on the third base. Rotron finishes again, those Evo Chambers going to be finishing up in a moment too. Allow about to complete from Scarlett. As again, Battlecruiser is going to be completing. Fusion Core's getting that Yamato Cannon, so Yamato Cannon can come online. And the BC instantly teleports across the map. Let's see what TaeJa can do with this. Yamato's down the first queen he sees. And then we'll just back away as the Hellions will take it as an opportunity for the queens to be out of position. And we'll get rid of a few creep tumors here. Tell you what, that third base is completely undefended. I mean, the queen's on their way back over now, but that was a heck of a moment to run on in with those Hellions to get quite a bit of damage done. We'll end up still committing in towards this third base mineral line, although Roaches and Queens starting to come out in position. And it looks like these Hellions, well, actually a few of them surviving at least as the Battlecruiser back into the main, forces drones to pull away. And with that Battlecruiser through and finds another drone on the natural. Just trying to stay out of reach of the Queens for as long as possible, keep as much HP on this as he can. Meanwhile, Scarlett still has Hellions diving back in towards the third base. And TaeJa is going to find 9 drones and now 11. Really well done as the BC picks off another couple of drones in the background here. Queen's still trying to chase this down, and the BC again pushed all the way over to the right-hand side. That Battlecruiser is just able to escape there. So, Battlecruiser escaping down the right. As I do see again, those few Hellions of TaeJa gathering up. A couple of moves keep on dropping down. The refinery is being placed. Third base from TaeJa coming in quite nicely because, well, there's no real pressure at all coming in from Scarlett because Scarlett's too busy defending. As BC has a teleport as well now, so it can teleport away as BC number 2. We'll see what it does. It's going to teleport in with Battlecruiser number 1. And now there's 2 Yamatos lined up, and can Yamato down both of these high energy queens. At first, BC decides to just back away instantly, not wasting any time at all. And as we're going to see the queens taking some damage, but the transfusions are pretty good here. And the BC has to be careful. The Spore Crawler throwing in underneath. Doesn't want to lose this Battlecruiser, of course, and will look to get it away. So BC is going to be saved, though. He'll have quite a little while to wander back home if he wants to go and get repaired. Nice scan, though. Cleans off some creep tumors, of course. Talked a lot about the importance of creep so far in this series, and it's very true. I mean, the more creep you clean out generally, the better of a game it's going to be for you moving on from there. I mean, it's not the only thing that matters, but it is a very important thing that matters. As we do have the Queens from Scarlett pushing across the map, actually. So Scarlett's going to turn this into a bit of an aggressive play. A lot of Roaches coming up with 1-1 upgrades, Roach speed completed. The thing is, though, I mean, TaeJa's been building tanks for a while and has a lot of them as well. I'm not sure if there's really a attack here that works out for Scarlett. Not with this many tanks that's been made. If this was Cyclones, I could maybe get behind it. Hellions run into a mineral line as well, so Scarlett's going to be losing more drones as this attack sets up. Obviously, the Ravager bars are going to be very important here. SCV's already pulling forwards, looking to try and keep those Ravagers and Roaches away and allow the tanks even more time to get damage done. I mean, the Hellions are making up for the SCV losses. 11 for 11 so far. First bars dropping down. First tank now dropping. SCV's a mass repair and a Battlecruiser. Autocannons down, a Ravager. Hellions coming back in. 24 workers lost. The Scarlett is still making some good progress here, but isn't reinforcing this with more units. Is instead deciding to rebuild with drones. So getting that economy set back up. I mean, 28 workers killed is pretty significant. It's a lot of damage dealt. That BC super low, by the way, will start to be repaired once again. The siege tank will just go down, although the Cyclones coming out will turn this away. And, I mean, Scarlett will lose absolutely everything here at the end. Obviously, TaeJa now can rebuild workers relatively easily too, so I'm sure he will begin to. Command side dropping down. Those Roaches coming around towards the upper left. A bunch of Ravagers morphing in now from Scarlett. So that's going to be 7 Ravagers getting going. Infestation Pit, Hydralisk Den on the way up. There's +2 missile attack upgrade. Starts up as well. So again, that +2 missile attacks up going. Queen's going to be taking some damage there for a moment or two. And again, just going to be seeing the GC continue to pick away at a bunch of those Queens at the moment. So doing quite a bit of damage. You see the Roaches and the Ravagers going to be pushing across the map. Those Hellions and the Cyclone continue to escape away down to the bottom left. Obviously, with the Cyclones out, though, you start to trade very well here as TaeJa. Scarlett will try and respond to that with the Hive. We saw the Infestation Pit coming up. We saw the Vipers have generally been the most kind of common way of dealing with those Cyclones. When you start abducting them in, the Cyclones start dying very quickly, and suddenly this army composition is nowhere near as efficient as it usually is. And so you really need to then be out expanding the Zerg and out economy in them. But the way this game opened, it'd be tough for TaeJa to do that. Just now taking a 4th base, 71 SCVs to 87 drones. Scarlett's just set up into a great economy once more. He has the lock-ons from the Cyclones. Get rid of a Roach, locking on again. We see another couple of Roaches taking a lot of damage. They will go down. As now this army from TaeJa coming over to the right side will come through and again pick away at a couple more of those creep tumors. So getting rid of a lot of this creep spread at the moment. Another creep tumor going down as well. Again, let's going. Cannon comes in with the big raid as well. Hello guys, what's up? Congrats Cannon for qualifying to WCS Winter. Saw your run, dude. Looking good. Winner bracket qualification. Doesn't have to play until 4 AM in the morning. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello everyone from the Cannon family. We're casting TaeJa Scarlett here. Currently game 3 of the first round of today's IEM qualifier. Explosive bars drop, and this army of the Terran backs away, staying out of trouble. No blue flame yet. You see the Cyclone still locking on. It's mostly Hydras on the way up recently, it seems, as well from Scarlett. So getting this set up now as the army will gather up on the front. Cyclones and Hellions over to the center. BC teleports into the main base after having not really been harassing for a while, so that'll come back into play now. I just feel Scarlett has such a good setup against this with the Vipers and so on. I mean, TaeJa's going to keep on building Battlecruisers. Going into 2 more starports. Obviously just wants to go into a big Battlecruiser count, which can definitely work if there's no kind of follow-up from Scarlett away from the Hydras. Like, if Scarlett keeps trying to play Hydras, then playing against Battlecruisers can get very tough, and there is not a sign of Aspire here in the game, right? So no Corruptors immediately available. It's just about TaeJa buying enough time with these Cyclones and these Hellions to be able to get to that stage of the game. So, well, it's going to be a little bit tough as the army pulls around. Going ahead and over to the left-hand side here, we see a couple of creep tumors getting picked away here right away. So a couple of creep tumors going down the right side. Again, Hydras, Ravagers, and Vipers hanging out as we see the Hellions and the Cyclones pressing forwards. A couple of cancels on those spine crawlers as well. The Vipers coming in as abducts come down. Good abducts on those Cyclones. Really good abducts. Very nicely done. Cyclone's going to be locking on as well once more. And those Vipers, a couple of those getting taken down there as the attacks sieging up and knocking down extractors and so on. Doing a pretty good job of this. There's a few more corrosive bars dropping down on the ramp. Battlecruiser teleports in towards the left-hand side. Again, another Cyclone lock on and abduct on just one Cyclone. BC gets abducted in as well. The Viper has been taken down too. So while the abducts have been good, TaeJa has picked up a lot of the Vipers, which is really nice because they're not easy to replace. They're expensive, plus the fact you then have to invest into the time it takes to get the energy back on them. This push forward is still happening. A few tanks to kind of back up this army as well. 3 BCs being made at a time. Scarlett has a Spire coming up now at least. We'll have a bit more of an answer to the Battlecruisers, +2 vehicle plating coming in. I guess TaeJa sort of neglected upgrades here earlier on. Only just getting +2 vehicle plating now. But that'll be so important to keep those Battlecruisers being super tanky and very difficult to take down for the Hydras at least. So that's worth keeping in mind there. As we now have the other units coming back over towards the center of the map. So he's going to fall over to the middle. Just going to be seeing those Hellions dropping down. A couple of kills on Creep Teamers here. Again, going to be seeing the Queens. Well, actually going to get locked onto. So these Cyclones going to get some good damage done there. Queen's taking quite a lot of damage. Oh my god, Queen's actually going to be going down. So 2 Queens dropped. Ravages and Hydras in the front, spreading out a little bit. The BC is heading to the top left-hand side. I mean, again, the BC army is getting scary, but do you want to... I mean, I guess they've got teleports, right? So, once they commit in, well, I love it, actually. The Hellions and the Cyclones hit the right, so the BCs can come up the left, and they have a teleport away so they can get out without harm. I mean, this hatchery just straight up goes down. So Scarlett loses her 5th base. And, I mean, as you move through here, you're going to get a couple of drones, too. I mean, again, as soon as this becomes a problem, you just teleport out, although it didn't actually teleport Battlecruiser number 1. The Armada comes down, a couple of Vipers. Some good guaranteed damage, abducts, and then the teleports away are good. So the BCs get out of there. Again, losing the first BC, a bit of a mistake, but other than that, a well-played moment by TaeJa. Scott will have to rebuild up that 5th base. Obviously, we're already 15 minutes into this game, so it is looking to be at that sort of point where those extractors are setting up, the spines are set up. I mean, these bases are getting mined out, and so Scarlett needs these upper left bases. Another great couple of scans coming down. There's a bunch of creep teamers going down once again. Really just cleaning up this right-hand side and keeping the ability to take a base here kind of away from Scarlett, because if Scarlett has creep down here, taking a base here becomes very safe. If you don't have creep in front of that base, well, that base is very difficult to justify taking safely, so it becomes really, really tough. As we're going to be seeing a spine crawler dropping down just in front of that hatchery. And the Cyclone's coming forward. Cyclone's locking on and able to pick off a Roach already. A couple of Vipers abducting Cyclones into the army. Again, going to be seeing Battlecruisers going to fly through. Getting rid of a couple of spine crawlers. Overlord's going down as well. Going to be seeing the drones, the spores still in some trouble. Fungal growths are good because it stops the BCs from being able to teleport away, although as the fungals fade, teleports come down on all but one Battlecruiser. So again, BCs get out of there pretty much without trouble. Scarlett will try and take this hatchery top right side. The Spinecrawler doesn't realize it's slowly dying to the lack of creep. Queen's like, I'll save you, buddy. I got you. TaeJa just has the entire map in the meanwhile, by the way. And that's the start, you know, that's what the Cyclone Hellion style allows you to do. It allows you to take the entire map while, you know, while expanding yourself. And while, you know, keeping the Zerg very limited in terms of what they can get done. 4 shots off, Fungal Growth's available to grab those units, stop them from kiting away as easily. And Scarlett's army is still kind of a good army here, right? A lot of Infestors, some Vipers, the Hydras on the ground. And these BCs are setting up. They're going to have +3 vehicle plating soon and +3 ship attacks. It's just started as well. Again, Hellion's trying to run by, but the Fungal Growth is used. TaeJa just setting up missile turrets and all sorts to try and defend here if an attack comes in. Vipers go straight away to start consuming up some energy. And get a few Battlecruisers on the way out, and that Battlecruiser coming out in towards the middle as well. Seeing those Vipers again, just continue to consume up, get a little bit more energy on themselves. Vipers will gather together, and Festus from Scarlett going to be hanging out underneath, and just going to be seeing Hydras and Ravagers all gathered up, ready to perhaps push down to the bottom side of the map here. A lot of tanks, a lot of BCs gathered up so far. As we are going to be seeing the Battlecruisers just hanging out at the moment, so they're going to be coming around to the right-hand side. We see the Vipers, the Ravagers, and the Hydras still setting up. We've got those Infestors currently burrowed up into the ground as well. As you see a couple of drones dropping in the top left-hand side of the map. BC harassing down once again, so Battlecruiser still getting a good little bit done. A couple of abducts in on siege tanks here, and those siege tanks will be getting picked away at. Again, this BC top left-hand side picking away at Corruptors. Gonna drop a Yamato, doesn't have a teleport, so this BC will fall. The rest of the BC still sat out in the middle of the map. As you see, Creep being picked away at still. So Creep Team is getting picked away at right now. Infestors getting pushed back. Battlecruisers ready to come in and fight against those Vipers. They're actually teleporting back already, so being cautious of those neural parasites. Oh my god, the Yamato from a BC onto another BC. Ah man, those neurals are getting a little bit dangerous, guys. I've got to say, abducts in. TaeJa feels like he's losing quite a bit. Masses of the Yamatos on the Corruptors here. Man, both players are losing a hell of a lot in these fights. Scarlett supply is dropping drastically quickly. Obviously now these BCs don't have Yamatos left over, and the extra Viper abducts and the Fungals are good to slow them down. Tanks setting up and pushing forwards, though. There isn't actually much left on the ground at the moment, so without there being much left on the ground, well, I guess that's where Broodlords might come into play as well. Man, this is just crazy. New BCs are on the way up. Scarlett is just about hanging in there. The Broodlords really might be the answer, considering there's no BCs at the moment. There's no real anti-air. Scans coming down. Creep Team is getting picked away at the moment. And we're going to be seeing those Vipers consuming up a hatchery once again. Broods still hanging out in the center. 5 of them coming up. And we're going to be seeing those tanks coming in, already going to start picking their way through this hatchery over on the left-hand side. So this hatchery going to be going down. Ooh, it falls. Meanwhile, tanks and Hellions pushing up the right as well. So they're going to be coming up here as Broodlords dropping down a bunch of Broodlings. Resources lost now, 29 to 31,000. So it's a pretty close game. You got to remember, TaeJa is mining more than Scarlett with the bases that are set up here. Oh, those tanks are all set. We're actually picking off a couple of Infestors. They're very expensive to replace at this stage. The game is, as tanks will on siege, backing away, saving themselves from the Broodlords. Stopping themselves from falling into any trouble there. The Brood's top left side going to try and get these tanks just before they pick off this base. It's going to be super close, but the base will go down. Actually, these tanks, the Broods gave up on them, so the Broods backed away. They're like, yeah, this is dealt with. No, it was not dealt with. As we're going to be seeing those tanks will finally fall. And that hatchery goes down as well. Scarlett's been limited on her mining. 11 workers down at the moment. TaeJa taking a little while just to build back up into Battlecruisers. 5 BCs on the way at a time at the moment, as we're going to be seeing those BCs coming in. And that's a Roach on the bottom left killed off. As we have a slight lull in the action, I want to have a massive, massive shout out to Jenna Bain, who has just dropped the 50 sub bomb. Woo! Get some hype and some love in the chat for that. I know you guys already did it at the time. I will get back to that properly after the game. Right now, though, we got to really focus up, because this game is crazy, because the BCs have just teleported in across the map. And away they go, teleporting in on top of this. Oh man, gonna see a couple of Broods getting blown up there by the Yamato cannons. The BC's gonna be coming in. You're gonna be able to get the Infestors. And abduct right there, but maybe these BCs teleporting in is just a bit too much. The Scarlet doesn't have much left, losing drones as well. These BCs are low on HP, but that'll be enough. GG's. TaeJa grabs that. Let's just do a quick rerun, because I feel like I missed that teleport in, because I was looking over and seeing the subs. Let's just quickly see what happened there exactly. So we have the tanks top left and tanks here. Right, this is a couple minutes out. We saw this. And everything pulls back. This hatch goes down. We have a lull in the action. I just want to see what happened exactly in this fight, because the BCs were gathering up. We saw that Roach dying. And this is why I was like, yeah, there's not much going on. Scans, jumps on top. Now, Scarlett didn't have that much anyways. Like, there's like a few Infestors and a few Hydras. She just couldn't keep up. Yeah, this fight goes as you expect. We pretty much saw it, actually.